Hello, and welcome back to the training. This is a grant writing training brought to you by Grant Database. Module 5, telling your story with data and evidence. And in lesson 1, we're going to be looking at why evidence matters. Imagine you are a funder. Every day, 200 proposals land on your desk. Some say we want to end hunger in our community. Others say 1 in 3 in this community goes to bed hungry every night with just $10,000. We can provide 50 families with sustainable food gardens for a year. So, which one are you going to likely fund out of these two ideas? Now, that is the difference evidence makes. One sounds like a dream and the other sounds like a solution. One sounds like a dream and the other sounds like a solution. Now, the core idea we're going to be looking at here is that the truth is funders are not just looking for passion, they are looking for proof. Evidence is the bridge between your idea and their trust. So, without evidence, your proposal is just another story. With evidence, your proposal becomes a credible plan that funders can believe in. So now let's look at why funders care about evidence. Why funders care about evidence. And we're going to be looking at some reasons why funders care about evidence. Number one is that it shows the problem is real. Now, evidence shows the problem is real. Now, funders don't live in your community. If you are writing proposal to Mastercard Foundation or whatever foundation or whatever, or even if it is the UNICEF or the World Health Organization. So they do not live in your community. They need data to see what you are describing. So if you say, for example, here that many girls don't go to school in rural areas, that is very vague. That is vague. Now, but if you say UNESCO reports that in northern Nigeria, 60% of out of school children are girls, you have turned a vague claim into a verifiable fact because the data from the UNICEF can be verified. It shows that UNICEF has actually done the work for collecting this data. They have the resources and what it takes for them to collect the data for you to use. Now, the second reason why funders care about evidence is number two, that it reduces their risks. Now, funders want to make sure their money is being used wisely. Now, data shows that you have done your homework. When you get data, it shows that you have done your homework. Now, look at the example. A proposal saying we want to help farmers increase harvest is too general. But a stronger version could be like this. According to FAO, 40% of food post-harvest losses in Nigeria are due to poor storage. Our project provides solar cold rooms that directly address this gap. Now, this is a stronger way of saying we want to help farmers increase harvest to how you could have said it in this way. Now, that kind of evidence reassures the funder, yes, that this solution is targeted to the farmer. Thirdly, why funders care about evidence is that it proves your solution can work. It proves that your solution can work. Now, funders love projects that are backed by success stories, pilot results, or research. For instance, example we have here is that a Kenya project that distributed smoke-free cook stove did not just say smoke is dangerous. They cited the World Health Organization data showing 3.2 million people die annually from indoor air pollution. And that evidence alone helped them secure international funding because the data is true and it is verifiable, and the problem is evidence through the data that is being quoted. So let's look at some real world examples now that we have seen some reasons why our funders care about data. So let me give you some three powerful examples where evidence make the difference. I believe everyone knows about the Malala Fund. Now, the Malala Fund is when they campaign for girls' education, they don't just say educate girls. No, they don't just say that. Anyone can come up that and start a campaign of educate girls. So they don't just say that, they use data. Like every year of schooling can increase the guest social income by up to 20%. That was the data that was used. That one statistic that has been quoted in countless successful proposals alone, that every year of schooling can increase a guest social by up to 20%. So that was the data that helped them to secure funding again and again. Another example is the solar sister in Nigeria, Tanzania, and Uganda. So this social enterprise trains women to sell clean energy products. Their grant proposals highlight data on energy poverty, like the fact that 600 million Africans still lack electricity. That number shooks funders into action. And the third one is in charity. So they always pair storytelling with statistics. For example, they will introduce a person like Grace, a 12-year-old who spends 4 hours fetching water and then earned 771 million people globally lack access to safe water. So that combination is irresistible. When you hear a small girl of 12 years that is spending around 4 hours every day to fetch water, and you see that more than seven up to like 800 million people globally that lack access to safe water. So that combination of statistics and facts are irresistible. So now let's look at some common mistakes that beginners make. Some common mistakes that beginners make is, number one is they are being too vague. So many people are poor. That is a vague world, is a vague way of saying things. Many people, how many are they? We've talked about this in mode 3 and mode 2 of using data. So many people are poor is too vague. This does not move funders. In fact, it will not even move you that you are writing or you are preparing the proposal. And another common mistake is using outdated statistics. Quoting data from 2005 makes you look like you are careless. Funders want up to date information. So if we are looking at the data from 2005, have you researched to see a new development in 2025 or latest like maybe 2020 to 2025? So putting the data from that point, to justify something you are doing that is like 20 years after, it makes you careless and it makes you look like you are not doing your homework. So you have to look for the up-to-date information if it's available. So another mistakes that many beginners make is copy pasting without context. Now throwing in numbers without linking them to your project is another trap. This is a big trap. So it's another big trap. So you don't have to throw numbers that will not be linked to to your um to your project. Now, the key takeaway here is that evidence answers the funders' hidden questions. Some of these questions, the hidden question for funders, there are three of them. Number one, they ask themselves that, is this problem real? They ask themselves also that, is this solution realistic? And then they ask themselves, can I trust this team with my money? So when you add strong data to your proposal, you are not just writing words, you are building trust, reducing risks, and increasing your chances of winning funding. So let's go to the activity for lesson one. So here is your first exercise in this module. So take this vague sentence, the vague sentence here. Here's the vague sentence. And then you take this sentence. Many children don't go to school in Africa. Now, you're going to research and rewrite it using data. For example, a guide here. So this is the sentence you are going to take. Many children don't go to school in Africa. You are going to research a data on this and then rewrite it with real example. For example, like what we have here, I give it this example so that it will guide you that according to UNICEF, over 98 million children in sub-Saharan Africa are out of school, with girls making up more than half. This is the data. Now, do you see the difference? The difference is the second version is stronger, believable, and funders can share the source. So what your assignment is, what your activity is in this lesson is to take this data. Many children don't go to school in Africa and research and add the data to it to make it more alive. I just give this example so you can find a lot of other data, to use, and then the way you put it together and add your source link so that we can all verify that. Now, in closing, as you move through this module, I want you to remember this simple phrase. Stories make people care, data makes them believe. That is why evidence matters. It's the fuel that powers your proposal from good to great. Now, I'm Oluwole Omojofodun, and in the next lesson, we explore the types of data to use, where to find it, and how to apply it without drowning your proposal in numbers. Now, stay with me. This is where your grant writing becomes unstoppable. Thank you.